126.
The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Need a show about outdoor living? This is where it's at. With your hosts, Shane Chapman and Way Laurent. Thank you for tuning in. Now let the show begin. Yeah. The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Let's go.
Hello, beautiful people of the deck world.
Bow, 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 bow. Where is that? You have that button in here.
Somewhere on there. It's in there, yeah.
Flip
I don't
the
know,
screen.
even know which one it is. I finally guessed one right. You know what's funny? We say it so casually now, but 126 episodes? Like, holy smokes.
I didn't do quite that many, but really good.
You're at least 22.
100 almost. I missed some of them.
Yeah. You know what I love about Saskatchewan? It's happening right now. So we did back-to-back podcasts today. And the one we just did was only
26 minutes. Shortest one we've ever done.
Yeah, we started it probably 45 minutes ago and finished it. And the weather has gone from
It's changed.
sunny-ish to clouded over to raining right now
New weather now.
in a matter of 45 minutes.
Yep.
So that's really good. That's what Saskatchewan's all about.
Yep.
Multiple seasons in one day.
You know where it's worse?
Where?
Alberta.
Yeah.
They have way worse.
Theirs can change in a morning.
Yep.
You just, all right.
Their weather is like our processes and systems we have in place.
Which ones?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They change so fast.
Yeah. So, Wade,
Yes, Shane.
what's your opinion on composite versus PVC decking? That is.
Well, I like PVC decking quite a bit.
Okay.
Because you can put it underwater
Oh yeah, yeah.
when you're building a dock
Raining right now.
and you
Perfect
build a dock and then you have it underwater. I think that the PVC is so much better that way.
Yeah, I think the best docks are built just a couple inches below the surface of the water because then you can splash around your feet. It's like a little kiddie pool.
Yeah. And if you don't believe us, just go ahead, take some samples of composite and PVC and then put them underwater and leave them there.
Yeah.
It'll be, then you'll know. So, I like the traction
Okay.
quite a bit better. Usually the color is better. Usually it looks a little bit better with color. And then durability is better
Okay.
and no organic content. I'm not huge on recycling, so I like that.
What you think the durability is better?
On some of them, it certainly is. You tell me you think the Clubhouse is not as durable as brand A?
For scratch resistance? Yeah,
Yeah.
of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Brand C, can't say anybody else's names. Cowards.
Yeah, Clubhouse, very durable. But I don't think it's a PVC trait. That's a Clubhouse trait. Because I wouldn't say that the one we're going to talk to today excels in scratch resistance. Just being straight up, you know?
It doesn't, but if it did
And nor
get
does brand
scratched-
A.
No. But if it did get scratched, you could take yourself a little fancy heat gun,
Yeah, that works pretty well in PVCs.
then it's good to go.
So the reason behind that intro today, we're getting to the point fast in these ones, eh?
Poor Simcoe. Simcoe tunes in, he misses the podcast because we've wrapped it up in 29 minutes.
No, Bryce. So we've been missing our moments of uselessness. We talked about our days in the first episode we just did a minute ago, and now we're all talked out about that. Now it's just like straight to the point.
Well, do you want to talk about something else?
I don't know.
I haven't seen you in weeks.
I know.
How's your family?
I haven't seen them in weeks either. They're down at the family farm, so I'm bacheloring it.
Ooh.
I've barely seen my house. I'm there to sleep.
I should have known that because you were messaging me the other night. It was like 12:30 and you're like, okay, I'm getting ready. I'm going to order these things. And you
Yeah,
were
I thought you
texting
did
me.
know that. Yeah, they went down to the family farm on
I did know
Sunday.
I did know that was happening. I forgot though.
So I've had fairly late nights at the shop, like midnight, 1 o'clock in there. All nights except for one. I went home at about 9 o'clock, ordered a pizza.
From
9:30.
whom?
Western Pizza.
That's your go-to.
All
That's your
dressed.
default.
Western Pizza's pretty good. Like, it's really good. That and Triffon's, like all the local Regina pizza places, like love Saskatoon, but the pizza in Regina is like world class.
The other day I ordered a Domino's pizza.
Hey,
Just
when you're
like-
hungry, it works.
No, I just wanted it. We ate that living snot out of that in university.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like,
Did you know they
I
changed
want
it?
to do that again.
They changed Dom. It used to be shitty, right? Like Domino's Pizza used to be pretty cardboardy. Even back then, it was like, it's pretty cardboardy, but $5 is $5, you know? And so you would order it because it was cheap and you were a broke university student and you could get a large and a thing of cheesy breads, whatever, for like $10. And you could feed 3 people with it. That's why you did it. And then the last couple times that I've had Domino's, I've been like, this is hitting different than it used to. This is really good, actually. And so I looked it up and I was like, I remember thinking this stuff tastes like cardboard. And so I looked it up and sure enough, they changed their like pizzas a while back and I read an article and the whole thing was like, we weren't the only ones. Everybody was referring to Domino's as cardboard pizza. And they're like, we got a problem in our hands. Like, we're selling pizza, but not because anybody likes it. Like, we're selling it because it's so cheap.
Okay.
Like, that's not how you run a business. So they changed their their recipes or whatever, and they made better pizza.
They called up the Colonel and Colonel,
yeah, maybe.
we have a problem.
Yeah. That's funny you say that because I was listening to Business Wars, not on the way here, but last night. And it's a KFC versus Chick-fil-A.
That's one of my favorite podcasts.
I love it. I love that podcast.
Yeah.
I get disappointed when I go on a road trip like I did today, and there's not new episodes I haven't listened to, or there's not businesses I care to hear about.
Right.
And then I'm like, well, shit, what are we going to do now?
Now what?
Guys,
listen to the radio?
Podcast once a week. Like, come on. So, anyways, it's a really good one, though.
Yeah, Business Wars is so good.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a lot of fun.
I didn't pay a whole bunch of attention to the KFC versus Chick-fil-A, so I don't have any stories from it. But,
Okay. Well, you want to talk about some decking?
Okay.
You might have a story about that.
Sure.
Okay.
You can drop greasy chicken on the stuff. Won't hurt it.
Did that? We might have had a sales guy that said that. What did you do? Who did you? You're the Q-Tech guy. You tried to light up the Q-Tech guy because you said that the Q-Tech wouldn't dry and it looked like greasy chicken sitting on the paper.
You set your lunch bag down, was it? Lunch bag down, soaked up some Q-Tech oil, and he's like, listen, we got a problem here. I got a deck that's a year old. Put Q-Tech on it a year ago. I've set down my lunch bag. Looks like a bag of greasy fried chicken now. So, yeah, it all comes full circle. It's very relevant.
Okay.
No, what we're talking about today is why, we've done these before, why would you ever buy Wolf decking? So Wolf's, it's a funny brand.
Wolf is pretty good.
It is, it's great. But I say it's funny because it's compared to the big brands, let's say, or the other brands that are out there, people aren't as familiar with it. It's more regional. You don't find it everywhere. They kind of lock down like dealers in specific regions, and then they kind of, it's the distribution of it's not great. So if you have a Wolf dealer in your area, great, you're very familiar with it, but you might be in an area where nobody's ever seen it or ordered it or whatever.
And I think that like Wolf is probably a lot more well known for their home, like Wolf home products, right? So they do siding and like cladding around
kitchen
windows,
cabinets,
kitchen cabinets,
trim, moldings, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. So the company's been around for like 180 years. It's like high 170s. Their 175th was like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And so they've been around a long time. They were a distributor, and then they started to get into the manufacturing side of things. But a lot of their products they don't make themselves. Decking is one of those things.
Yes.
They don't actually make it themselves. It's a licensed product that they have. I don't know if it's licensed per se. It's their brand, but they have it manufactured
for them. Yeah.
By somebody else.
Yep.
Interblast makes it.
I was like, are we going to tell them? We should tell them and tell everybody else.
I was like trying to place it in my head as all this stall was there. I was like, couldn't remember the name for a second.
Yeah. Intoplast, right?
Yeah, it's a great product. It's a cellular PVC product, so it is similar in makeup to an AZEC or a Fibron Paramount or Promenade or those type of boards. Same kind of idea. No wood fiber. It's not a composite. However, in the markets where it is, it has a really loyal following. People who use it love it.
Yeah. And like, you can't blame them. It's freaking beautiful looking stuff.
So I'm leaning on a board here, and if you're on the Instagram, you can see it. And this is a pretty vibrant color. I don't think the contrast in that phone's going to do it any justice to see the streaking. Maybe if you got closer.
I have longer arms.
But I personally think that it's kind of looking washed out on the phone, but like in person, it's beautiful. I think that's one of its best benefits is its looks. It's one of the best looking boards in the industry.
Yep.
The streaking is very apparent, yet not obnoxiously so. Like it's perfect. The amount of color streaking that's happening in it. So I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I like the graining in it. It's not super deep. It's realistic. It's, so I really like the looks of it. That's my favorite thing about the board. So,
and it works. It's not only your favorite thing. People walk in the store and they walk to it. They gravitate to the wall to be like, what is this?
Yeah, the colors are beautiful. The colors and the way the colors are done, like the variegation on it is beautiful.
Yeah.
They do have a Wolf Pro program, so you can, if you're an installer, get approved to be a Wolf Pro installer, which then allows you to provide, I think it's a 5-year still, install warranty as well.
Correct.
So you can get covered if there's for some reason a warranty claim in the first 5 years. They'll cover the install portion to remove and replace the boards. So that's good too. But it is a smaller, that's not the right word. It's not a smaller company. It's a smaller product line as far as marketing goes. You're not going to see a bunch of TV commercials
ever
about Wolf. You're not going to see a lot of stuff in market other than kind of what the local dealer might do, which is probably supported by Wolf, but they're not Trex as far as their marketing goes.
Nope.
Like you're never going to see that.
No.
But they do have a great product and they back it well. Of the brands that we work with, which is, we've been stocking dealers about 6 brands these last couple of years, and I would say the customer service and the approach they take to when there is a small issue that comes up is second to none. They really, really stand behind their products, back them, and make sure that everybody's experience is a good one, even when there is a problem.
It's just, yeah. So this happened. We had some fascia that had some air pockets in it. When the sun hit it, basically the fascia delaminated.
Yeah.
And I phoned our rep, Mark, and was like, Mark, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but like this is what happened. And he said, yeah, no, that has happened before. I'm familiar with it. It's not super common, but it has happened. And then he proceeded,
which is refreshing in itself.
That's right.
Because usually what you hear from reps is like, that's weird. I've never heard of that before. And then you talk to every contractor like, yeah, I've had that. Yeah, I've had that.
Time, yeah. So he's honest. He tells you for sure that has happened. Then he said, you need to do whatever it takes to make that customer and contractor happy, and then let me know what the expenses were and we'll reimburse you for that. But just get started in making sure that decking is fixed.
Fix the problem now. Like as far as the customer is concerned, fix it now.
I actually had to call him back because I didn't believe that. I called him back and was like, okay, this is what I think it's going to cost. And he was like, wait, just call me at the end when it's over.
Yeah.
And
like, so contrast that with,
smokes.
I won't mention the brand, but contrast that with some other brands. I shouldn't say other brands, but a recent conversation we had where the rep themselves was like, this is like, we're going to get some pushback on this from the company because whatever, I don't even know if we should approach this as a warranty claim because there's going to be a lot, it's going to take forever and it's probably not going to turn out well and blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's more of a common approach to warranties than what Wolf does.
It's so funny because it seems like corporate Wolf doesn't operate the same as corporate America. You know what I mean? And so when you talk about because the company you're talking about, it was a corporate answer, right? It was like, if that runs up the chain through the systems that it's supposed to go, what's going to happen is that customer is not going to get new boards and they're not going to, none of this stuff is going to be fixed because legally we've written in all these clauses that say we're off the hook because of whatever reason. But it was like, you didn't use the right fasteners. If you don't use our fasteners, it's not warranted. And if you you didn't use the right spacing and the joists were just slightly overspent and the boards are allowed to be wider. And it's just like all this stuff, which means we're off the hook. Sorry.
Yeah.
And Wolf's answer was fix the problem and then we'll talk about it after.
Yeah.
Because that person has invested a ton of money and they want that deck fixed.
Yeah.
They want it to work.
Well, they understand a little bit more the impact of, I'm losing the words here. The impact of
you are 40 now.
Word of mouth really is what I'm trying to get at. But I was trying to find a different wording for it. But essentially, they know that if that customer has a bad experience, you won't sell your decking to any of their friends or family either.
No.
But you can take a negative experience, like something negative happen, and turn it into a positive.
Yes.
Because for the contractor that was on that specific job site, negative. this job is holding me up now. I can't finish this job. That's crappy. This is not a good situation. But the fact that it was dealt with immediately and promptly and no questions asked is like the negativity about the scenario was gone.
And it was so the other thing that Wolf probably understands or has had some concept of, that was that contractor's like third job with that product.
Yeah.
We had convinced him to use Wolf. It was like, you should use this product. And he was like, yeah, okay. And it was like, first one went pretty good, had some scratches on the board, like you had said earlier. It's not as durable as other stuff. It's not as durable as the products he had been using. So he's like, it's scratching. It's like, yeah, sorry. You can heat it up and fix it. And he's like, well, I didn't have to do that with my last decking. It just worked. Yeah. And then the second one went well. Some delivery issues on our part. Third one, they expanded and like there was like a product issue. And it was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
But after that warranty process with Wolf, he was just like, oh yeah, no, like the board is good and I'll buy in. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's what it takes.
Yeah. So really good, really good customer service, I'll say. And it's funny because you said I phoned Mark right away. That's like with them, it's like Mark Fisher, the Wolf rep, is Wolf for the most part.
For us,
as far as the dealer is concerned, right?
As far as we're concerned, because we sell
Mark
only
has the
decking.
authority to solve the problems, and he's the man. He's the yes man or no man.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like talk to the rep and they're like, we're gonna have to submit stuff. I'm gonna have to talk to my boss. I'm gonna have to talk to somebody. I have to go to the department that does. It's Mark, and it's the credit department. There's a guy in the credit, and there's Mark. It's like if it's a bill thing, talk to the other guy.
Yeah.
If it's anything else, talk to Mark.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So there's certainly some. There's probably pros and cons to that. We're not going to see Mark as much as we see a rep from a Trex or whatever, because he's one guy covering the whole continent for the most part. But it's also a much closer, tighter relationship because you're dealing with one guy and like you get your answers fast, which is a benefit of that, right?
Yeah.
As far as the warranties go, so they follow through on it well. They actually increased their warranty. I think it was last year. Before that, they were their warranty wasn't quite as strong, and I believe that our last podcast we did about the warranties kind of brought some attention to that for them, because I know they reached out afterwards and were like, "Oh, we didn't realize this. Can you send us some details about the other warranties?" Blah, blah, blah. And then they changed their warranty. So I do think that we might have had a little bit of influence in that potentially. But anyways, their warranty now on their, so let's also go back a little bit. We mentioned they make all these other products for all areas of renovations and constructions or whatever. And they also make a composite deck board. We talked about like composite versus PVC. They do make a composite line, just so we're not leaving that out there. We don't stock it. It's not nearly like their bread and butter is their PVC line, but the perspective decking is a traditional wood plastic composite. Yeah. I'm sure it's fine. We've seen it in person before. We've never stocked it, so I have no experience with like how well it performs or whatever. Yeah. But
I think the reason that we didn't stock it was we had a lot of local distribution already with other brands, other wood plastic composite. So it was like, why would we bring that up? Why would we pay to have it trucked up here if we already have other like good viable options, right?
Yeah, the appeal of this is that it was a PVC product. We wanted a PVC product, and the coloring was amazing.
That's right. And so there wasn't enough pros for us in our market to bring in the Wolf PVC or the Wolf composite. Sorry.
So we didn't bother with the perspective line. The Serenity line is what we carry. Yeah. It's what most people think of when they hear Wolf decking, is they think of the Serenity PVC line. They do make other things like outdoor cabinetry, the Endurance outdoor cabinets, and we're a bit invested in that as well. We sold some of that. I think we're trying to get some displays in our stores.
Quoted one today.
Yeah. And so the cabinets are fantastic as well. And they make other products too, like railing and everything else that we don't do much with. Today's episode is kind of more around the Serenity line of decking and the cabinets a little bit, because that's a great 1-2 punch for an outdoor kitchen space. The Endurance cabinetry is all aluminum based, which is really cool, because a lot of outdoor cabinetry is either garbage.
Right.
If it's cheap, it's garbage.
Yeah.
If it's expensive, it's probably partially because it's stainless steel.
Yep.
Which is a great material to make these things out of. There's nothing wrong with stainless steel. It's just expensive. And
other than the cost, right?
100% transparency, Wolf Endurance cabinets are also expensive. Like compared to what you think you're going to pay, because when people think kitchens, they're like, oh, I can get a cabinet at Home Depot for $120.
Right. Not these ones.
These are not $120 cabinets. These are outdoor. They're made of aluminum. They're powder coated. They are a high-end premium finish.
Yeah. Soft close.
But they're half the price of stainless steel options.
That's right.
So while they're still premium, they're not like out of touch, like out of reach, I should say, premium priced. Right?
Yeah. But you're not comparing the same things. You're not like the cabinet that's $140 on the floor at Home Depot lasts 3 months on your deck.
It barely lasts 3 months inside the house where it's supposed to go.
So like, they're not the same thing, right? But
no,
anyway.
but I'm just saying, like when people, because Canadian dollars, these Wolf cabinets usually are running like $600 to $800 per linear foot of cabinetry, right? And so that's not cheap. So a cabinet, 2 foot wide cabinet, is like it's up there.
Yeah, it's like $300, right?
No, like a 24-inch wide cabinet would be like $1,200, $1,500.
No.
That's what I figured out last time I did them.
But is that with the countertop on there too, though?
So they do have countertops now, because before a couple years, so that was the knock on endurance cabinetry, in my opinion. Before, it was a couple things versus competition. One was it wasn't a complete solution because they didn't have a countertop option. They recommended that you use that Decton, like 3/4 inch. I don't even know what that stuff is made out of, but it's an exterior countertop. It's pretty common.
Decton?
Decton, Dekton, I think it is.
Okay.
They recommended working with that, which is I think that Decton is super cool. But you then had to source that elsewhere as well.
Right.
The other thing I didn't like was it was a bit of a plain styling. It was just like slab doors, no real styling to them. There was 3 plain colors, no wood grain finishes, just 3 solid powder coating. Then a couple of years ago, they released the shaker style doors, which which was a very nice touch because you know the slab style was just a little bit plain looking.
Just plain
when it was one color too, like no wood grain and no styling. So they're nice, but the shaker style is a really nice look. Now they look more premium. Yeah. And then they added the powder coated aluminum countertops too.
Yes.
Which I thought was also really cool. So now you do have a complete system.
Yeah. So in the estimate that I was working on with Mark, I don't have a number back. That's obviously, like, I obviously don't have the number back. That's why I didn't know what it was going to cost.
That's why you just had your, oh shit moment.
Yeah. But he did tell me that right now the lead time on those countertops are 100 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we were looking at it.
Ordering.
Well, we were looking at it, and I called the customer and I was just like, here's the truth behind it. Like, Mark, again, he's like, he doesn't pull any punches. He just tells you this is what it is. Yeah. Either order the countertop or don't order the countertop. But he's like, what you're asking for cabinets will be in stock in Pennsylvania, and we'll be able to ship that up to you. No problem. It'll probably be there in like 2 weeks. If you want the countertop, you're 100 days from now.
Interesting.
And so I was like, oh boy. So I called the customer, chatted with them, and I was like, not that I don't want you to buy Wolf countertop if that's what you want, but it might be faster to just bring these cabinets in and then source your stone top locally. Like just go get some stone, granite or something. And so she was like, yep, that's exactly what we're going to do. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
And they appreciated the customer service again, part of it, right?
Yeah.
So
good. So anyway, the cabinets themselves are super, like they give
duper.
A high-end finish, a high-end vibe to them, right?
Yeah.
They've got all the soft close hinges on them, soft close sliders, adjustable feet on them. They're heavy-duty feet on those things, like they can carry some weight.
Yeah.
The nice thing about them versus something that is maybe more like a foam core or an HDPE cabinet out there too is that these are much more durable. They don't not impacted by the sun. That other stuff could warp in the sun if it didn't get covered up and installed in time, whatever.
Yeah, it was like
can chip.
Your boxes, your cabinetry shows up, and it's like you have 1 day to put that whole thing together. And it's like, or what?
Keep them under the sun.
Or it like all turns into a puddle on the bottom of your deck.
Yeah.
Like,
keep these. It's kind of funny because a lot of people ask us all the time when we have a delivery of decking. It's like, we're going to deliver this on, you want it on Wednesday? Oh, I do, but I'm not installing it till Saturday. Is it okay if it stays outside, like in the weather? That's exactly where it's going for the next 40 years.
It'll be out there the whole time.
I think it'll make it. I think it'll make it to the weekend. But with some of those cabinets, they don't. Yeah. It's like you got to keep them out of the sun until you install them, because if they're not like whatever screwed together and the countertop on them and everything, the sun does warp them. Yep. And it's like, okay, well, these things live outside. I don't know that I want a product that can be damaged by the sun. I get that once you're installing, they're supposed to be okay. But anyway, enough about other products. The Wolf Endurance cabinets are fantastic. The only knock still, I guess, I would say, is that it's like you got your 3 colors and that's it, right? You don't have the option of a wood grain finish. They haven't done that yet.
Carly and I were looking at some pictures today because obviously the Wolf cabinets came up, and so we were chatting about it, and then I showed him the other stuff, the Danver,
yeah.
and I was just like, look at these things. And he was like, holy smokes. And that was the one that I showed him, was the wood grain. I was like, look at this. Like, this is an unbelievable kitchen.
Yeah.
But
those Danver ones are like 2-3 times the cost. They were expensive.
Yeah.
We did a quote one time because we had a bit of a relationship with Danver for a bit. And we quoted one job, and it came in at, I think it was $25,000 for these kitchen cabinets from Danver, and then the same cabinets from Wolf was like 12. It was less than half. So it's a pretty big difference. It's like, how much do you like that wood grain? Like, everything else is about the same, right?
It's wild. Yeah.
So would be nice to add those little bit of finish. That said, like if you think about interior cabinets, unless you've got real wood cabinets that has wood grain, obviously, a lot of cabinets are plain in color.
Yeah.
Like my kitchen, I've got the
Plain
flooring has a bunch of variegation to it. It looks, and then my cabinets are white, solid
and
white.
your countertop is like, there's some visual interest in the countertop.
And I wouldn't want my cabinets to have a bunch of shit going on.
Yeah.
Like that's the break between the busy countertop and the busy floor is like some serenity.
Ooh.
Some serenity in between.
That's how they did it.
Right?
That's how they did it.
Yeah. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because a lot of the decking that we put on, like this stuff included, or whether you even do Trex or fiber on somebody else, there's so much going on in the decking floor itself.
Yep.
And with Wolf's countertops, they do have some different textured finished options and color options that are not just plain color. So I think it's good to have a break of just solid color in between. Or else it's just like busy patterns everywhere that may not work together. So it's not all bad, but that's something you notice when you're looking and comparing brands. Is like in a picture, some of them look really pretty because they do have that wood graining to them or something, right? So
yeah, I like the Wolf cabinets. I think they're a great option.
Yeah.
If you're looking at cabinetry, I do believe that it is similar to how we talk about decking in the store. It's like the best bang for your buck. Like I believe that Wolf outdoor cabinets are probably your best bang for your buck. They are a great outdoor cabinet at a reasonable price for what outdoor cabinets
higher price point, but much better quality than what you're going to find when you walk into Lowe's at the front of the store, and it's like $1,200 for this setup here, and it's like, oh, it's cheap. Yeah, it's cheap. That's right.
Well, you could do it 5 times, 6 times. Like you could put it every 5 years. You could just throw that deck out, that cabinet out. So
that's about Wolf Endurance cabinets. But back to the decking, the warranty on the decking is much improved. We started talking that, and then we took off down the road. Warranty has been extended to 50 years. So 25 on perspective on the composite decking is still 25 and 25. 25 structural, 25 fade and stain.
Yep.
The Serenity PVC decking and their porch decking, which is a PVC product as well, both get a 50-year fade and stain and a lifetime structural warranty on it. Okay. Now, of course, like everybody else, it is I call it like a diminishing warranty. It's like it's prorated in a sense, right?
Depreciating
warranty. That's probably the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
But I did notice that they give you a full 100% coverage on the first 10 years. And I think I'd have to look back because people change warranties from time to time, but I think that's longer on the 100% than a lot of brands. A lot of brands is like the first 5 years is 100%, and then it starts diminishing down to 90, 80, 70. Yep. And they give you 100% on the first 10 years, both in the fade and stain and the structural component to it. So that's really cool.
That's huge, right? That's the important part. That like, if it fails after 25 years, it's like, well, you're probably not even there. Like, let's be honest, you're probably not in the same
my
house.
problem.
Well, right? So, 10 years is like, that's really good. That'll be the strongest one.
Yeah. So the other benefits that we mentioned before, the traction on it is really good. The looks, the traction, the fact that you can heat gun out some scratches when it happens, because like we said, if you asked me to rate a bunch of big brands of decking as far as scratch resistance goes, well, that's not what Wolf is known for. It does scratch a little bit easier than, say, a Trex Transcend or a Clubhouse. It would be comparable to a lot of other brands that are out there, but it's not its strong suit. You wouldn't buy this if somebody came up and was like, I got 3 monster dogs and like 105 kids outside, and they all walk around with
rocks on their feet
and knives in their hands. It's like, if that's the most important thing is scratch durability, this is not the board for you. But
I think you should draw cartoons. Okay. So that what you just described, 3 big dogs and 105 kids with rocks in their feet and knives in their hands. It's like, can you imagine what that circus looks like?
Yeah. So we talk about scratch resistance a lot on a day-to-day basis with customers. Because when the first thing we like to do when we get new samples in is we like to try to scratch them. And then we're like, well, that one scratched easier than this one.
Everybody does. That's what people do when you hand them a board.
But you look at our displays in the stores, they get walked on by thousands of feet all the time. None of them are scratched. Like with normal traffic on them, even the ones that we say scratch easier, doesn't mean they're going to get all mauled up.
They don't. Like they don't scratch once they're in. I always tell everybody this, like the hardest time is in transportation.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, so transportation from the plant to here. And you can tell that everybody knows that that's an issue because these trucks show up, they're all tarped. They're completely covered.
Yeah.
And so they've invested extra thousands of dollars in tarps to make sure that it gets here properly.
Yeah.
Then it gets unloaded and sits in the yard. Transportation, and then to site, and then on the deck, and until it's actually fastened on the deck.
Yeah.
It's in transportation. And so that's where it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Once it's down, little Billy and his like toy cars are not going to trash your deck. That's not happening.
Yeah.
So,
but if you were to say like, what's the one knock? I would say, well, it's not, it doesn't like, it excels in looks and color and warranty, and it excels and it's like top of the industry and all those things.
Yeah.
But scratch resistance would be medium, I would say, on it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
only real knock.
Scratches.
What else do we need for it? Oh, probably the most important thing we should actually talk about is the fact that they don't make a grooved board, because that's what, like, people notice that. It's like when people
It's a
come
plus. That's a positive for me.
It could be, yeah. You pretty much every major brand makes a grooved deck board to work with hidden biscuit style fasteners.
Yes.
So that's when people think composite decking or maintenance free decking, that's what they think. They think that's how it's going to get installed. Wolf does not do that. Wolf is considering that. But at this point in time, they don't have grooved boards, and maybe they won't ever. I don't know. But right now, you have to screw these down or nail them down. So your install is a little bit different than you would with other brands. However, it's a stronger way to install it anyway. It's not a knock. It's just different. So your options to put the stuff down are basically with a cleat-style hardwood flooring nailer like the HidFast tool, which those who have that gun love it.
Yep.
Or with Pro Plug or Cortex plugs and screws, or face screwing it, or what we most commonly recommend people use is the camo system, camo marksman system.
Yes.
So camo allows you to, and that's what we've done in the showrooms here with our Wolf deck. Camo allows you to, you've probably used it on cedar before if you're a contractor, screw in from the edges of the board. So it's still hidden and it's still screwed down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more hidden than face screwing or the plugs or whatever. As hidden as clips, I would say. Maybe a little bit less hidden than that if you're really looking for it, but a much stronger way to build the deck though. And limits the expansion contraction at the same time.
And so one of the drawbacks to PVC, not Wolf, PVC over composite, is that PVC moves more. It expands and contracts more.
Yeah.
All of them. Doesn't matter which one it is.
Yeah.
And so when you fasten it down with screws, then you restrict that movement.
Yeah.
So now it doesn't move as much. One of the things you didn't like is that it moved. And now you've screwed it down. And it's like, now your frame is actually connected to your deck boards and they're solid. You didn't clamp it together. You fastened it together.
Yeah.
And so your deck is now, it doesn't rack. It's not wobbly. It's stronger. The whole thing is stronger.
Yeah.
And your board's not going to move around.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a better way to install it.
Way better way to install.
Not only that, but the camo tool, the nice thing about camo too is that you can reverse the screws up to replace the board if you had to.
Absolutely.
With the HidFast, you can't. That's one thing to know. Like, you got to cut the board out, and then you'll have to either camo or Cortex the new one in. Yep. You can't use the cleat again. But so the camo system's great for products like this. It works fantastic.
Yep.
And nobody, like, it's just a matter of education for a homeowner. It's like, no, this one has to be put down this way, and here's what this looks like. Oh, okay.
I know that when we first started looking at this board, that was the one thing that we kept talking about. It was like,
I know.
It doesn't have the groove.
We made it an issue.
Yeah.
Because we'd start with the only problem with this, and it's like, oh, it's a problem?
Yeah.
It's like, well,
it's
no,
the
it's
same
not,
reason
not really a
it's
problem.
the same reason my dad's lumberyard can't sell composite.
Yeah.
They can't sell composite because somebody walks in and it's like, this is really expensive.
Yeah.
But you could buy it if you'd like.
Well, yeah. If you want it, I'll get it.
What's not expensive? Well, the treated lumber I have is not expensive. Yeah. And then you call him and he's like,
clearly this is a conversation from years ago.
I don't yeah, this is not last week conversation. He was just like, I don't understand why people will like how you sell so much composite decking. I was like, because they don't start with, this is really expensive.
Yeah.
They walked in the store, they knew what we sold. They already know it's expensive.
Yeah.
They're here. You were the one who trained me. It was like when they walk through the door, they're ready to buy. Yeah. They did their shopping online. When they come through the door, they're ready to purchase. So don't get in the way. It was like, okay, well, just tell them. And so we were doing that with Wolf. We were like, yeah, but you got to screw the whole thing down until we did one. And then I was like, well, that's not that bad. Why was I telling people that was that bad?
Yeah.
And so.
Yep. And it's like no squeaking or no nothing. It's a good way to put it down. So it's not a problem. The other thing is the price of it. I believe compared to other PVC deck boards, which are PVC is always typically a premium price board, but compare this to like an AZEK or the bigger brands of PVC decking, this I think in most markets tends to be a little bit less money as well.
Yeah.
So
because they do distribution a little different, probably.
Yeah, I think I can't remember from the States if they do two-step distribution or not, but they do. Like for us, we buy it from Wolf, and so there isn't a middleman in the way of that. So therefore,
or woman,
or a middle person, a little middle person,
an average size middle person.
Yeah. So in our stores anyway, we've got for PVC products, we've got the Fibron, Promenade, and Paramount line, and we have AZEK. There are 3 lines: Vintage and Harvest, whatever. Like
there,
they're all more expensive than the Wolf is.
Yep.
And that's not an indication of better quality. It's just like, it's an indication of less people touched it on the way to us.
Yes.
So you can save some money that way too, potentially. What else, Wade? Is there anything else we need to talk about with Wolf? Carly, what else we got to talk about Wolf? You like Wolf? You like Wolf, eh?
You want to know the other reason that I like the 12-foot solid edge Wolf?
Oh, here's another, yeah.
Because it's 12-foot solid edge, not 20-foot solid edge.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So solid edge is incredible because if you build a deck that's 16 by 20, you can buy 16-foot solid edge deck boards, which, of course, if you look it up on the website of all the other brands, they all make 12-foot solid edge.
Most of them
they all make 16-foot solid edge. It exists, but you're not getting it. It's not happening.
Yeah, the distributors don't pick up all lengths of solid edge boards usually. It's like, we have 20s only, maybe a 16 here or there, but you're unlikely to have all 3 dimensions in solid edge available to you. Yeah. And so this comes up all the time.
Yeah. I did it just the other day. I was talking to somebody and he was like, well, but I really like it was a Fibron. He was like, I really like that latte color and I want to use it. And the deck was 12 feet out. And I was like,
12 by 12 or something, right?
Yeah. And I was like, dude, you're going to burn you're burning 8 feet of board every time. Yeah. But if you do Wolf, you can buy a 12-footer. And then now all of a sudden, your picture frame with Wolf is less money than your picture frame with Lodge.
Yeah, well, that one's a little bit more expensive. I don't want to spend that. No, because you're going to buy 36 feet at
you don't use
$6.
Yeah.
Not 60 feet at $5.
Yeah.
So like you're better off.
So anyways, it was really good. It was a good conversation. And so I'm like reinvigorated by Wolf again with, just new market, trying to educate people about it. Cause in Regina, we've talked about it for 5 years and people they're familiar with it. The people that buy Wolf, right? And
well, not 5 years because we didn't have Wolf for the first 2 years and we wanted it.
Know about it.
We knew about it and we wanted it, but at that time, like when we first opened our business, we didn't have the capacity. That was on us. We didn't have the capacity to buy a full truck of it out of the States.
And by capacity, you mean cash. It was like we opened the store and it was like, we can't buy it.
It took us a couple of years to get to the point and have the growth and even have the traffic and sales to justify bringing in a full truck of something like that. Because not only when you do that, like this is more from our perspective now, but it's one thing to buy a full truck, but you need to be able to buy additional trucks after that for infill because you can't buy things 1 or 2 lifts at a time when you need a little bit here and there. So it's a bigger capital investment.
Never, ever in the history of selling things have you been able to sell the whole truck. What you sell is 75% of the truck.
Yeah, exactly.
Tops. And then it's like,
if you're lucky, before you have to order another full truck, it's like, I don't need the rest of it. It's like, but you have to.
Because you got 3 of these and 3 of these and 12 of these. And it's like, you can't do a deck anymore.
So TC Decks asked, is there a contractor program? There is. It's not lucrative like the other ones.
But he's in the States, so it's better. Like he has an option, at least in the States.
Yeah, you explain that because you did the research on that episode.
Yeah.
So we talked about Wolf in that. Go back to the episode that it's called Contractor Loyalty Program or something like that for a full review. But
yeah. And so essentially what happens is they do have a contractor program and they've tied it to their whole company. It's Wolf Home Products. And so if you do kitchen renovations and you do siding and you do windows and cladding and all that stuff and railing, it's worth having because Now, all of a sudden, your loyalty program works all year for you. If you're a guy that's doing renovations inside during the winter and you're doing renovations outside in the summer, then like Wolf has that. They have all those products.
Yeah.
And so your program can be really good. There were a couple knocks. The numbers were high. Like you had to get to $450,000 before you started to get like 1 or 2% back.
Oh, I thought it was cash back.
It's cash
right?
back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But if you did 4 kitchens at $60,000 a pop, it's like all of us, you're getting there. Maybe it was 250. Maybe the first tier was 250.
Must be a little bit
right?
lower, yeah.
250 to 450, and then 450 to $1 million, and then $1 million to 2 or something. Right?
Yeah, it's a pretty good size operation. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you constantly pull those products all year long, then it helps, right?
The biggest benefit
it didn't work in Canada because they had built this reward program system, and if they were going to move it into Canada, they had to replicate the whole thing, and it was really expensive to set it all up. And they're just like, there's no value in the contractor reward program.
Right.
The warranty, the 5-year labor warranty, that is in either country.
Available anywhere. And so that's the benefit, I guess, to most people is going to be that. To most contractors, because a lot of them aren't going to do multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars in Wolf decking in a year, right? So the benefit to you is that you're able to get your certificate, offer that extended warranty, which is a value add for you to offer your customers.
And so we did that in the virtual training, right? We did a Wolf Pro.
This year?
Yeah.
No, they didn't certify anybody for that. That was just a training for people about Wolf products.
Gotcha.
We did an in-person one a couple of years ago.
I wonder if they would consider doing that. Like if we were able to put together a program with Mark and
in the new world now, they would almost have to.
You'd have to, right? Like you can't put 12 people in a room to do that anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, they do have a program. It's not as lucrative as some of the other big brands you might be familiar with, like a Trex program where they've got like retreats that they do and like all this loyalty kickback and branded swag and dollars for this and dollars for that. Like it's not at all like that, but
I've had some dinners with Wolf. Their program's okay.
yeah, they're willing to spend the money. Okay, that's a good point. They are willing, I think, and I don't know this from a contractor perspective, but I believe that they're willing to listen to ideas and contribute to help your growth and their growth together. Absolutely. So while there may not be a formal program that says you sold this amount of dollars, so therefore you get this, I think in a lot of times, if you come to them with a pitch and say like, hey, listen, I want to wrap my trailer or I want to do some radio ads, I believe that they would probably listen. I'm not guaranteeing they would do it for you, but I believe that they would potentially partner with you on stuff like that.
They would entertain it.
Certainly they do with us, right? If we ask them like, hey, would you like to do something together? Like they're always willing, right? So,
yeah.
But they just don't have the big communication. I was going to mention this earlier and I didn't. And now that Carly's brought the sign over, I feel like we have to. They do distribute Fibron decking out of their, I think, Pennsylvania operation anyway, as well. So I'm not sure if that matters to anybody, but
Wolf does.
They distribute as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
They got a partnership with Fibron, I believe. Yeah. No, I'm not even going to dig into that more. Anyway, so like they know decking and they've got a good product and they've got a good manufacturer in Interplast. They claim that helps them to keep their costs down too because they don't have to invest in all the overhead equipment. Because Interplast does make their own line of decking as well.
That's
again, not a huge brand that's known out there, but yeah, I really, really like Wolf. So
me too.
There you go.
Which is really good because that made it easier for us to bring it in the store. There was like no internal battle.
Yeah. Well, we were like, we knew we wanted it from day one.
Yeah.
Because we used to watch a lot of Instagramming and stuff, and it was probably honestly Dr. Dex, Jason Russell, where we kind of maybe saw it first. Maybe he was used to use a lot of Wolf.
You could talk about the curvability of it all.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're wanting to curve decks too, like any PVC will work, but Wolf is PVC, so it works really well as well, like similar to AZEC or whatever. But certainly allows a little bit more flexibility in design when you can curve a deck board. Which yes, you can curve a lot of composites too, but not nearly as easily.
Yeah, I don't care what every single composite person will be like, you can curve my stuff. It's like no. We're not talking about doing a 14-foot radius. I'm not talking about an eased edge. I'm talking about a curve.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you can kind of let the deck trickle around the edge of your yard. You're not going to do a cascading set of stairs. So that's a curve.
Sure, you can clear the farm lane with this snowplow. Well, you can do it with ours too. That's a shovel. So that's a shovel from Canadian Tire.
Yeah.
Well, you can still clear the snow. Yeah, but come on. It's not nearly as easy. So anyways, if you need more information about Wolf, I think like Mark is pretty active on Instagram too. Mark Fisher is on Instagram as well as Wolf Home Products. So check them out if you want more information from us. Certainly, we're always active everywhere too, and we can help answer questions as well, because I understand that you're not going to be as familiar with it as other products, but it's a good one to consider. And like I said, in these groups and stuff, there's a few guys out there that are just like, they're hardcore Wolf. When people are like, what's the best decking? It's like Wolf or bust. Like, it's a fantastic product. The support's really good again.
Those are tough. I don't know that I necessarily love anybody that's like Wolf or bust or AZEK or bust. It's like, come on. Yeah. It's like, it's not that good.
So this Facebook groups, it comes up semi-frequently, like once every 2 weeks probably, or maybe even once a week. Somebody will pop in and be like, what's the best decking? What's the best? And of course, and I've replied, the last time one came up, I replied and was like, the one that each one of these guys works for or uses exclusively. That's the best one, because half the people in there are reps. Yeah. And it's like, what's the best decking? Oh, it's Fabudec, because it's just the best. And it's like way better than anything else. It's like, okay, because you work for Fabudec. Like, you can't get an honest opinion out of anybody. But I feel like we're pretty honest. So it's like, which is the best one? We carry them all because they all good in a certain way. So check it out, wolfhomeproducts.com. You can see the rest of their, and the porch board profile too, if that's big in your market. They have a really nice porch board profile as well. Like the narrow board tongue and groove is really cool too. Not big in our market. We don't stock that one because we get asked about it like once or twice a year.
Yeah. Everybody we get one ask a year.
Yeah. So not huge for us, but if you're in like the Northeast states where it's a little bit more popular, they do have an option for that. So
slick.
Live it up.
Yeah. Your best life with the porch boards. Yeah.
So
porches are coming back. They're trendy again, porches, the fronts of houses.
So you know what? You
have a porch. You ever sit on
it?
And
I really, no, I don't sit on my front. My front porch is like, it's just a large stair landing. I don't have the full porch kind of thing. The full porch, if I had one, I think I would sit on it.
Yeah, you're getting old enough. You might do that now.
I like the look of a porch house. I like over in the Greens by where you are or were, I don't know what street that is. When you first come in, there's like a lot of it, and they all have porch streets. I think are much nicer looking than ones that have garages in the front of them all over the place. I like the look of them.
I have to agree. I like the way the house looks, but I really dislike detached garages.
Yeah. I was going to say, attach the garage in the back. Attach it with a lane. That's agreed.
Sure, I could do that. Yeah. But I hate detached garages.
Yeah.
It bugs me.
But I like the look of a porch house, and like if I could sit out there and have my coffee in the morning, that would be fantastic.
Watch all the things. Watch all the goings-ons.
Yeah. Watch all the other people having the coffee in their porches.
What are you doing over there?
Just sitting on my porch.
What time's the garbage truck coming today? He's not here. It's 7:15. I thought he'd be here by now.
Yeah. Plus, you can store more Amazon packages there on a porch. Okay, that's it for us today. If you have questions about Wolf, hit us up. Oh, what we should mention too, the pod shop is live, right? tuds.ca/pod shop if you want some pod gear.
A couple of shirts got sold.
We've been getting tagged in people Instagramming their pod gear that they've been wearing. The Ultimate Deck Podcast hoodies and the Show Me Your Tracksaw shirts. The gear's getting out there, so if you want to represent some of the podcast stuff.
We sold at least 2.
There's 2 of them out there. Then tuds.ca/pod shop. Check it out. And until next week, I guess. We'll see you
doing Regina next week?
Goodbye. Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Now you know what we're about. Check the site, come and shop. UltimateDeckShop.com. Hit us right away for sponsorships, or tell us if you want to collaborate. Let's go. Check us out on any social networks. Thank you for listening.